evening KeyForge game where myself, Boulevard Blake, brings a guest from the community to, sip on something, play a little KeyForge, have a conversation. Just a great night out on the town, so to speak. The town referring to the Crucible, of course. And this episode, I have with me Blinking Line. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Yeah, I was excited to have you on. I just kind of was like, hey, I should ask Blinking Line. Just was kind of one of those, didn't really think about it, just made sense sort of
Yeah, no,
deals.
yeah.
And
No, I'm happy to be here.
yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. So I have a lot of questions for you. Actually, that's the cool thing. But before we get started, what are you sipping on tonight?
Tonight I am sipping on Balcones Baby Blue Corn Bourbon.
Oh,
Yeah,
ah,
it's one of the weird ones. Like it's made out of this, made by this distillery in Texas. It has always kind of come like highly recommended to me, but uh, I just never got a chance to like actually try it. And so I was like, you know what? I got like a little sampler from them of like stuff that they do. So I've got this baby blue corn bourbon, and then I have I think their rye that they sent me as well. So I've got that kind of just sitting there, and I was like, yeah, it's nice. It's a weird sort of like it's one of those things you can tell it's not yellow corn, but
right,
you can't really tell, like you can't put your you could I don't think you'd be able to say, oh yeah, that's blue corn in there. You can totally
got
tell
you.
that that's what it is.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very cool, very cool. I myself decided to forego the alcoholic beverage and am just enjoying a nice cup of English breakfast tea this evening.
Nice. I will allow it.
I was debating throwing a little Grand Marnier in there, and then I was like, nah, there's no point. Let's just keep it classic.
Yeah, fancy pants.
All right. So tonight, what are you playing? You mentioned some kind of janky sounding deck that could do some things. So
Yeah, it's a really fun deck. It's called Sonbate of the Stewart's Laboratory. And I actually opened this at an ABR sealed event, like right when Dark Tidings came out, and it just has a really, really sort of like it has a weird way that it wants to play, and if it if everything kind of comes out in the right order, it's a lot of fun, and it can go kind of fast, which is weird in DT to see decks go fast. Um, it has some really interesting control aspects. Yeah, and I think that it's one of those things where it does a really good job, at least for me, of like showing kind of the really interesting aspects that they've put into Dark Tidings and what makes that set, I think, so different uh, from like what we've seen, in the previous sets, especially coming out of Mass Mutation. Like I always felt like Mass Mutation was sort of like, okay, we really liked what we did in Coda, and we want to do that again, but like crazier.
mm-hmm.
And then I feel like DT was sort of like, okay, now we want to make a game we want to make a set that's like very, very board centric, lots of control aspects. Got this new house coming in, added the new tide mechanic. Um, it just makes it. I feel like Dark Tidings makes it more of a. It's more board gamey, if
Well,
that's a
that's
way of
that's kind
putting
of
it.
like what AOA did too.
Yeah,
Like,
to some extent, AOA did the same thing, right? It's like
mm-hmm.
really wanted to, uh, sort of like we're gonna make this a little thinkier. We're gonna make it a little more
Yeah, you're
difficult
not just
for like
playing cards.
right. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the last video I put out, but I specifically referenced you and Sky Jedi actually because in the Help from Future Self Discord, your whole little two paragraph conversation that you each spit out on there was like I was like, oh, I like this. I want to like elaborate on this,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like, this is kind of interesting. And I think you mentioned everything being in a vacuum, right? And I thought that was such an interesting way of thinking about it, and that really sparked like, oh, I want to talk about this, like the idea, because like I also think that Worlds Collide, if I'm not mistaken, was also designed, but I'm curious how much tweaking happened because of what happened with AOA. Like they had it designed and then suddenly like, oh, we need to really tweak this.
Right. Yeah. I don't know where in the sort of cycle that Worlds Collide kind of hit, but I know. I mean, they've definitely said that AOA was basically done, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Call of the Archons came out. It was like we've got first set out the ready to go out the door, and we've got the second set ready. It's ready to go into production immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like at best, they were starting to see like some of the stuff that like went into Worlds Collide clearly had to have been developed prior to, I think, AOA's release. I just don't know how much of it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, the AOA like being in a vacuum and not, it's one of those things that is fascinating to me about like card game design, right? That
Mm-hmm.
you're having to sort of anticipate what you think the previous set is going to do and how people are going to play this game at a massive scale, and so not having anything to base that off of, they kind of had to. I feel like they sort of like made their best guess and was like,
Right.
okay, this is what we're gonna do. We think this is what's going to happen,
I
and we think
hate
that,
it.
yeah, we think that if we if we do, yeah, we hope that if we do this, it'll be enough.
No, I hate
It'll
that
be
you
enough.
TCO'd first turn.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
your deck has really good first turn plays. Like really good
Yeah,
first turn
it's
plays.
got
Like
some
you have
really
both
nice
the
stuff in
chosen
there.
one, you have Kaupe, and then you also have going with the Archon's callback. Like you're not exactly hurting on that front.
Yeah, I did have to
Um
yeah, I had to mulligan to get that, but it was worth the mulligan for sure.
yeah, okay. I'm playing my Dark Tidings deck is it's a Dav deck. It's one that I like. It's not amazing, but it can do some really cool things. A little more finicky than the top tier one I opened one time, but it has a great mutant count in it, and an auto encoder, which never hurts when you're playing a Dav. I think there's like what 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mutants. So pretty good number with Vault's
Oh yeah.
Blessing and 2 Lost in the Woods. But it's finicky, like I said. Um, one thing from what we were talking about before was that I was thinking is um sorry, I'm just gonna quickly play my turn. Was that the whole idea of nice of these sets that you're talking about is I feel like they're almost like, based on what we're seeing now, they could be designed in like a trilogy, because you have the Coda, AOA, Worlds Collide, and then like you said, Mass Mutation kind of reflected what Coda did, and then Dark Tidings has in a way reflected what AOA did in a way. So will we see the same thing happen in the next one? That's something I'm kind of curious about.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really I'm really interested to see like what's in that next set. Um
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like there's been all this talk about like, what happened to the algorithm and things like that, and I think um the big sort of issue, at least based on like, in conversations with Skyjet, who knows uh pretty much, I feel like he's practically reverse engineered the algorithm to the point that it's like, okay, you know what it's doing,
Yeah.
um, or at least it's close. You're close enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's really, he kind of is very much of the opinion that it's not so much like when we hear people talk about the algorithm, oh, the algorithm, whatever, and Call of Discovery actually just had a really good episode about this too, where it's like, um, you know, like cybersecurity is no joke and all that kind of stuff. And I think that it's a really interesting thing that they've said the algorithm is broken, because the algorithm, I think, is their sort of like generic term for their entire deck printing process.
Okay.
And the kind of the opinion that it's not the deck generation that's broken. Like they can make decks. I think that
Right.
they can generate the decks, right? It's the bit that takes those decks and then renders them into the ability to be printed and produced. That's, I think, if I had to guess, that's what's actually broken. Um,
Okay.
and so that's, it doesn't help anything. It still means that uh, you know we still are not going to be playing any KeyForge, but
Oh, interesting.
sorry, just got
Do your
orders
thing,
through
man.
there. Yeah, okay. But yeah, I think that's the sort of big thing, and where that sort of nicely dovetails into FFG's sort of intended plan of like releasing this digital client is if they want to go into a sort of like hybridized model where you've got physical decks and a digital representation of those decks, uh, you could do something where the if people do, I don't like this idea, but a lot of people are very much behind it, of
Mm-hmm.
making digital only decks. And if that is the case, then they would be able to turn and produce that set and make it available for people to play as soon as the digital client is ready.
I would hate that straight up.
Yeah.
I would absolutely hate that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very much from the place where I play KeyForge because it's an IRL in person game is why I like it.
yeah. I am in the same boat.
So
Uh,
I want to ask you is we kind of skipped this part because we got into a really nice free flowing conversation there, but like to for those who don't know, who are you? Because for me, who you are is like probably the de facto online KeyForge judge is kind of your role in my mind when I think of Blinking Line. I'm like, oh, that's the guy who you got to call if you need a judge call and you're playing online. That's who it is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess that's a good way. I mean, I've sort of, I guess, I've made myself available to be a judge for a lot of like online events and stuff like that. So I think that definitely that is where um, some of that comes from. I also started up. Um, I'm the person who started Arcana,
Oh,
the
okay.
KeyForge wiki. Yeah, I also did that.
Oh man,
Um,
kudos to you, my friend. Like you are at legend status for that alone.
so yeah, so that was originally that's sort of my baby. The hiatus has. I don't want to say the hiatus has hurt us as like Arcana because it's like okay, that's cool. We're still people still use the site to find out how to play the game and that sort of stuff. So that's fine with me. Um, but yeah, it's a bummer. The hiatus is a real bummer for us because it's like okay, uh, we don't have any new content really to add to our site. We don't have um, you know nothing because we try to be like a very much an official sort of like try to keep things as official in line with FFG as we can. So it's made so that part of like my KeyForge life, the Arcana bit has kind of gone quiet during the hiatus, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I guess those are the two things that I'm known for. I guess yeah I talk a lot about KeyForge and its rules and how the game works and talk about that kind of stuff, and then Arcana is my other big thing.
That's very cool.
And
I
then
like
yeah,
that.
oh, and I do ABR too. I'm one of the ABR organizers. I don't know what we call. I don't know. We don't have terms for it. I'm very I'm trying to be like very like community minded and get people like if you want to be on if you want to see the cool stuff. Hey, yeah, you want to do cool stuff together? Let's do cool stuff together. I'm very much into
Got
that.
you.
So yeah, so I'm early member of ABR, I guess. Yeah. So
Love it. Love it. Man, you're I don't like what you're doing in this game right now. I hate it, in fact.
let's see what I want to go with.
Oh, I'm gonna do some cool things next turn. I feel it. I feel it coming. Um, so I honestly had no idea that you were the person behind Arcana. It makes so much sense now. Like this, everything really adds up with that piece of information. And I'm sure you
Oh
know
yeah,
on Hell from Future Self, we always are using our. That's literally the what we have open when we're pretty much having conversations. It's like we
awesome.
have the recording, and then we have Arcana to refer to anything that we're talking about. So
Love it.
we're gonna definitely have you on the show. You're coming on to Hell from Future Self. It's been decided. I have decided you're coming.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy. Like I'm happy to pretty much talk KeyForge anytime. So
We'd like to have you on. I think maybe to even talk about Arcana. That's I think
sure.
worth an episode in itself, especially during the hiatus. And here you are pushing for your second key while I'm trying to figure out my life over here. Um,
It's all right. You're working out future episodes and scheduling and stuff like that. Don't pay
Yeah,
attention
yeah.
to what's going on my side of the board.
Okay, I'll remember that. So here's some cool stuff that I can do. This is what I'm about to do is one of my favorite things about this deck. All right, so let's see what's in my discard right now. Is there something? Okay, no. This is what we do. So we go. Mm, 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 mm. All right, got the answer here. So not quite as strong as I would have liked, but we'll do this anyway. So I will discard Console Primus, which then allows me to archive a card. I will then
Nice.
play Dark Centurion to draw a card. I will play Lyco to also draw a card. And ping the bubbles with Ember. Ooh, that was a good draw. Wish I had done this differently now. And then we're going to play Cornicin. How do you say this? Cornicin Octavia?
I always say Cornicin Octavia. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, that
There's
makes
probably
sense.
someone who speaks better Latin than I do that has a different pronunciation, but that's what I go with.
All right, and then we're going to play another Cornicin over here.
Wow, so many.
And then we're going to play Defense Initiative on to this guy here. And yes, we shall exalt and ward the line because you got hella bubbles out there.
Nice.
And then here's the
It's.
fun part about this turn is then I play Blast from the Past.
Mm-hmm.
We'll exalt this one, bring back Console Primus, and do this. So it has a nice little synergy where I discard to trigger the autoencoder and then archive the creature. I drew into the one my second Cornicin, which I wish the one without the capture pip, and I wish
I
I
like it.
had done that differently. But yeah, I didn't take you off check, so it's just another feels bad moment on this side of the board.
All right. Let's see where I can go here. All right. Well, something interesting can go.
So is there like a really memorable thing that's happened to you during KeyForge? Like in your tenure as a connoisseur of the game? Like is there anything that you have just like that's a really standout moment? Could be a play, could be something you've done, anything like that.
Oh, I don't know. I think I will say there was it was pretty early on. It was definitely in it was during Coda. It was actually yeah, it was going to be so this is pre bait and switch errata for sure. Um but I live out in California now. And but I grew up on the East Coast in North Carolina, and all of my family is in a little town called Wilmington, North Carolina. It's not a little town, I guess. It's a sizable town, but it's on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
So and there's a really great game store there called Cape Fear Games, and uh, they were hosting some KeyForge events at the time, and I remember I went in on like one of their first KeyForge events, and I played a tournament and I won, and it was really weird because I wasn't playing like a super great deck or anything like that. But I remember like they kept telling me they're like, "Oh wow, you're a really good player. You should just watch out for this guy. Like watch out for that guy. He's like really tough to beat. He's got a really strong deck." And I was like, "Oh okay." And first off, I don't think that I'm a really great KeyForge player. And my win record that I don't really track, but I feel like I lose way more games than I win.
Mm-hmm.
But uh, hold on one second. I'm just got to think about something real quick.
By the way, part of my strategy through this is to distract you while you're playing in hopes to give me
that's
an edge. It's
yeah,
not
that's
working so
totally fine.
far, but
It's totally fine. But anyway, I ended up going through this tournament, and I ended up like winning the whole event. And everyone was like, "Who is this kid? Flies across the country to play in our event. Who does he think he is?" And I was just like, "I'm just some kid that wants to play keyboards. That's really all I am. Don't give me anything more than that." Let's do that. That's good. And then
I'll follow up with the bubbles. I'm okay. Put my mutants back on top of my deck. I'm cool with that. I'm spending so much time right now setting things up. It's terrible.
Oh, sorry. I'm just. Let's do that. Let's do this. Take those off. Let's bring our good friend, the Chosen One, back out. And a photograder.
I hate it.
Let's go with that.
All right.
Yeah, so I think that was my one of my all-time favorite memories was like showing up in this town that like I didn't really know anybody who was at the store playing or anything like that, and then I'm like the mysterious stranger who wanders in and wins, their KeyForge tournament. Um, and then I have had somebody come out later and be like, oh, you're that guy. I know who you are.
Right.
And
Your renown caught up
after
with you.
Well, once this was before I had started Arcana too. So it was
Oh,
like
okay.
later when they found out, they were like, "Oh, okay, so you really are like this nerd kid for it." And I was like, I mean, maybe a little, I guess, sure.
I love it. All right. So now this deck is starting. This deck, I feel like it's. You know what's the weird thing about this deck is I get all my houses like in waves, so I'm never
Yep.
calling. I'm kind of noticing the issue here is like I'm getting everything in waves and not calling the same thing over and over. And then you have pretty good board control. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I was like, oh no, should I have played that last creature, but it wouldn't have killed the chosen one. All right, carry on here.
All right, let's see what we can do here now. Let's. Hmm.
Are you holding, just out of curiosity, are you holding a card specifically because of something I can do?
No.
Because I feel like you are.
No, I'm definitely not. No, I'm definitely 100% not doing that.
I can't tell if you're being
Uh,
sarcastic or not.
No, 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 no. I'm not being sarcastic at all. I'm like, no, I don't have anything that would. Uh, I feel like what's about to happen is the tide is literally about to turn on me here, um, and that's okay. Yeah, I think let's do logos. Um, hmm, what's in there now? Oh, that could be. Oh, right, you're still there. Okay, let me do this way then. Play that. Play that. Play that. And play that.
Oh, I forgot you had that.
It sort of was. That was not the card I was worried it would be, but that's okay.
All right, so this next turn is going to be a defining moment.
I like it. Mm. Oh yeah, this is gonna be bad. Oh.
Oh, I did get it. Heckin' heck yeah. All right, this is where it's going to get bad, and this is why you have a card I'm worried about. So I Vault's Blessing for 10 Ember.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's put Skippy back in. Oh, who else I want to throw back in? What's my draw looking like right now? Yeah, going Logos is a good call. And it's also a bad call. I hate how that works out. It's a good and a bad call.
It is both good. It is the best of times. It is the worst of times.
Yeah, and we'll get rid of that because... All right. Get rid of TCO here. I like how I've gone through my deck and shuffled. And your draw is almost the same as mine. Too bad you don't have final analysis. I'd appreciate that right now.
What's that?
I said I wish you had your final analysis. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be that would be good. I would totally play it just to be like, oh yeah, let's just see what happens. I feel like that's the sort of like why I'm a not great KeyForge player.
Oh,
is
you
a
went
lot of times
Sanctum.
I'll be like, I will play things just to be like, oh, let's just see what this does. See if this does what I want it to do, and it doesn't. So let's do that.
I'm feeling you're gonna do the one thing I was worried about.
No, I don't think so. You're not worried about that.
Nope. Well, yes, but nope.
Oh, I know which one. Yeah. I know. Yeah. The bring low.
Yep, the bring low. I was worried about that. I was like, oh, this could be bad.
Yeah.
Taxing Journey didn't help though.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen it, but no such luck this time. Want to just? Yeah, might as well. Oh. Yeah, let's get rid of that, just in case.
Oh man, you saw through me.
He had so many targets. I was like, all of these are good. Let me just go ahead and do this one first. I would have liked to have maybe gotten rid of the Dark Fairy too. There was a lot of stuff I would have liked to have been rid of, but.
All right, I gotta think carefully how I do this. So, definitely going Saurian. Definitely grabbing the archives. Oh, it's almost not worth it. I'll play that there. We'll discard Pterodactyl. Oh, got a friend over here. I guess I take the tide here, unfortunately. We'll throw that. Exalt. Pop that.
Nice.
And then we're going to play this one here. Get some warding going. Then we'll proceed to combo out again.
Nice.
It's fun with the Pterodactyl because it basically means you can take out what you want.
Yep.
All right.
That's very cool.
And we're going to stop there. Hey, my creature's readied for the first time. TCO is such a good card.
Yeah.
Do you think it was called the Chosen One as like a reference? Do you think that was like a very cheeky nod, or do you think it's pure coincidence?
I don't know. I would like to believe that they do things like that. That they come up with little things where they're like, oh yeah, we just and they give those little bit of those little nods to the community. I really do believe that they,
because there's so many other little like Easter eggs,
right.
you know, like with the references to pop culture. Like it seems like,
right.
You know what I mean?
It seems like it's got to be right. That's
yeah.
I feel like it has to be. So, all right. Well, let me think about this. Do I want to do it that way?
This game is taking a nice turn. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Let's see. Don't like that at all.
I have another question to ask. I'm gonna let you think through this turn because we're definitely at a turning point one way or another.
Yeah. Okay. I think I can do this. Let's do that. Fight into. Mm, yep. And then fight there. Oh, I missed your Cephalist. That is very bad for me. I've made
No,
a
that's
huge
not why
mistake.
you didn't do it. You didn't do it because you killed it with the assault.
Oh, right.
So you
But it
never
wouldn't have
actually
mattered.
technically fought. Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered. The Cephalist. Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right. It didn't actually fought. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's less than desirable, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and do that and play that for nothing except for an amber. Do I want to? What's coming up? What do I have here? Yeah, let's go ahead and take the tide.
All
So
right.
you're on your second key now. Okay, you said you had questions, but please play your turn out.
Okay. Are you do you more just crack packs or do you actually go on the secondary market? I'm always curious how people like do
Oh,
acquisitions.
no, that's a great question. I am almost always a cracker of packs. I
Okay.
but I also I'm weird in that I will open a deck and be like, okay, how can I get good at this deck? Like I'm very much in like that weird like Garfield um mindset of like you got the deck, now you need to become right. There's a quote that he has about KeyForge where he was like, I don't think you need to be the best KeyForge player. You need to be the person who plays that deck better than anybody else.
Okay. I like
That,
it.
yeah. And so I feel like that's sort of where I'm at, right? Like I like to get a deck, I like to get into it, see what I'm doing, see what it can do, see what it can't do, and then once you know what a deck can't do, that's when you can really start to like throw yourself into matches and see what happens. Like,
No,
okay,
I
I know
get
this
you.
can't do it, right? Like, I mean, I
Yeah,
know
I'm
right
with
now
you.
I am in deep, deep trouble. Like, there's nothing my deck is going to do if I don't, if I didn't get, uh, you know, one of the only board clear that I have, and I don't feel bad telling you I don't have it. So,
Okay.
so this is not going to end well, I think, for me. I can, I think, get another turn out of it, which is okay. Let's
Well,
see what happens
one
there.
thing that's interesting about Keyforge in general, and I feel like people don't get this sometimes, is I forgot, like, because as I'm telling you, this deck is just constantly going like batch by batch, but there gets to a point where can you keep up with my batches? Because you were literally beating me 2 keys, 3 ember
Yeah,
to me having 1 ember, and now here we are.
and here we are. Put that there, that back,
Oh, Lycosaurus.
and let's see what happens.
I have so many outs right now. It's just glorious.
It's like, which out do you want to use?
Kind of a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um I forgot how good Fangtooth Cavern is in this deck once Dav is out because it's mainly mutants.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, that's the answer right there. For more than one reason. Okay, so we're gonna go Untamed. Grab the archives. take out that. I guess for the sake of, I'm not really trying to stall this out. Oh, I like that idea. Okay, and then we'll go Lost in the Woods to put those two I just played. Yeah, I forgot how cool this deck is.
Yeah.
Because, and you still haven't played your Bring Low, so I know that's coming.
Unless I didn't happen to draw it.
I guess that is possible. Just keep that the way it is. Throw down the Pismire. Ah, nice. Drew into my Flume. Love it. Discard the Flume to archive. Now we play the Fangtooth Cavern. And I can't see everything I have on my battle line, so yep, we're good there.
That's always a nice feeling.
All right, trigger that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've got one answer, and it's not even a good answer. But you know what it is.
Yep. Ooh, a little Haydroth action.
Like, that was it. That was all I had. All I can do is keep you off. I mean, we're now at the same point, but you have so much more you can do to me.
Yeah, I think I just go Logos. What's in my archive? I don't need that. And what do we draw into? Nothing helpful. All right. Take care of that. Use that. Discard that. Play that to draw an Ember, so you can't use your creatures. Oh, I did that in the wrong order, but it does not matter, I think. And yep, that's... Oh, there's another one here.
Like, oh, wait, I forgot about this one. This munchling over here.
Yeah, we'll just reap there, because destroy that. There we go.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I have not played this deck in a very, very long time. And it's in Italian, so I don't play it in real life.
Oh,
but
sure.
It's...
Oh, but what fun.
It's so cool. I forgot all the cool things it does. Like, I legitimately forgot, like, the blast from the past, and you just discard with autoencoder, and then you get to damage something.
So good.
I've been holding in my hand the whole time is a Spoils of Battle for you to just burst up.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just throwing out stuff, but I can't stop you from forging, so.
All right.
Good game.
Oh, GG's, my friend. Oh, man, that was cool. I was literally like, wow, I'm about to get blown out. And then I forgot, oh, there's a reason why this deck does this. You got to be patient. You know, there's some decks like that. You need to, like, just stay calm, and they play from behind. That's how they play. That's so cool about the game.
Yeah, no, that's that's sort of like what we were talking about, right? It's like sometimes you've got to just know the deck, and sometimes it's like, all right, I know how this deck plays, and it's either going to play the way I want it to, and it's going to play the way it has played 60% of the time, and it'll be amazing, or it's not. It'll play the way it plays 40 of the time, and we'll see what happens. But even in that 40%. You can still get to a point to where you're like, all right, well, maybe if I stall it out long enough and I cycle through, it will become the deck that I needed it to be at the beginning.
Yeah, and that's what I realized.
Turn around, yeah.
Between, like, the Howling Pit, Dark Ember Vault, or Autoencoder, I think you get one of those out, and then they will help you get to that the next level of efficiency with this deck. This man, I love this deck. I now remember why I bought. I need to play this more. This is gonna be on stream. But I totally forgot this deck. It's so good. Well, I'm going to play it on my Saturday streams because I forgot how good it is. You know, some decks you just don't play for whatever reason, and then you come back like, why haven't I been playing this deck?
Right. You come back to it, and you're just like, oh, wow. And you're like, I completely forgot this played the way it does. So, yeah.
And then I also feel, and I'm sure you'd feel this way too, is that if you don't play a deck for a long time, you as a player, just from playing a multitude of different decks or even different sets, are going to evolve and advance in terms of knowledge or things you see. And then you come back to a deck and you suddenly view it a little bit differently than you did before because of just experience and whatnot of either playing against stuff or yourself playing decks. You kind of go, oh yeah, you can do this here. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like if especially like if you put a deck away for like 6 months or something like that, and then
Hmm.
you're like, oh, let me just dust this off. Let me see what it does. And you kind of have that like vague memory, right, of the deck's game plan. You're like, oh, I
Yeah.
remember this deck likes to do this. But then looking at it with fresh eyes, you're like, oh, I mean, I can make it do that. But then look at all this other stuff that it can do. I can't believe that I've been sleeping on this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a great way of putting it. Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on,
Of course.
and hope to get to jam some more games with you because this was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And yeah, anytime you want to, if you want me to show up on Help for Future Self, let me know. I'll be there.
You got it. You got it. Is there anything you want to plug? How can people reach out to you if they want to pester you after seeing this game and hearing a little bit about you?
Yeah. Well, I can be found pretty much on Discord everywhere as Blinking Line. Blinking Line 0001 um, is my Discord handle. You can also find me
Actually,
on. Yeah.
you're
I
number
have
one.
Nitro. I have Nitro, so I changed it.
Oh, okay, got you. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Who are
right.
you?
It's yeah. I mean, it's kind of lame, but it's also kind of cool to just be like, oh yeah, it's 0001, and they're like, wait a second,
Yeah,
excuse me.
everyone pauses for a second. That's
Yeah.
so cool, man.
Yeah, but then I'm on all the things. You can find me on Archon Arcana. If you reach down there, there's a contact section. I am almost always the person that will answer to that. I tweet from Numquid the Fair on Twitter.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
That's also me.
And what else you got
And
going on right now?
yeah, the other thing we have going on right now, me and Sky Jedi, uh, another person that is a fantastic member of the KeyForge community. Um, we have just, I guess it was a few months ago, I sort of had this dream about a game, and it was a procedurally generated deck game using a small deck, and yeah, no tokens, played fast, low barrier to entry, like print and play is kind of like our main thing. And then we've sort of like just been at it for a while. I guess like 4 or 5 months we've been just hammering away at this thing, and we just did our soft launch kind of the game. It's
So
called
everyone
Ardent.
understands they created a game and put it into like people are playing it in 4 to 5 months. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yeah,
Yeah, so you
yeah.
guys are basically geniuses low key is what you're trying to
Well,
tell everyone.
no.
Without flexing that muscle, you flex that muscle, okay?
No. It's no. It's I mean yeah. I mean we took kind of like some concepts that uh we took some concepts from KeyForge. We took some concepts from another really awesome game called Button Men. It's James Ernest, so it used to be it was a cheap ass game for a while. Super interesting dice game, like a dice combat game, and
Okay.
sort of like took some of the mechanics out of that, took some of the mechanics from KeyForge, uh, sort of like jammed them up together, made procedurally generated decks, and yeah, the sort of like whole thing of it was to make a game that would be super easy to play. It doesn't require any tokens. Everything is tracked via the cards themselves. Um, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've had a really amazing time with the playtesters that we've had and stuff like that. And our official launch date is February the 1st. But if you go to ardentreapers.com, you can kind of get started right now. We have a Discord set up and everything like that. But it is also a 100% free to play game. 100% free
Okay.
to play. Um, you when you sign up for an account, you get 2 decks in your account. Um, they're yours. They're free. They don't cost you anything. And then you get once a month, you can get you just get a free deck. We just give it to you.
Oh, that's so
Because
cool.
yeah, it's all about the goal. Kind of is just really to get people playing the game, and that's not a model that we want to change, right? We want that to always be like the baseline model is lowest barrier to entry that we could reasonably make work. You can of course buy more decks if you want to, and if you don't like print and play, or you find a deck that you really really like, we have a way that you can get it professionally printed through our friends at the Game Crafter.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah, and but everything is, we try, like I said, we try to keep everything like super reasonable and everything like that. So, but yeah, it's a very cool game. I've been having so much fun playing it and designing it and stuff like that, and then the community around that game has been just as great as the KeyForge community. So if people like KeyForge, you might also like our game. So
Very
I
cool.
hope you check it out. Yeah,
Well, thanks for coming on, buddy, and we will definitely chat soon. And as always, everyone, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.
thanks, Blake.